Today I'm checking out a beast of a bass that holds down the low end with style. This is the Legator HB5F, a 5-string multi-scale bass that's locked and loaded. I've got a lot of insight on this one, so in this video I'll be breaking down the specs, sharing some thoughts, showing you what all the knobs do, doing a raw tone demo, and giving you a playthrough of the bass in the context of a full mix. This thing's in stock and ready to go. It's a 33 to 35 inch multi-scale bass, super comfy to play, and super tight down low. You've got an alder body with a burl veneer top, killer vibe. The neck is a 3-piece hard maple build with a rich light composite fingerboard and a smooth 16-inch radius. Hardware is on point with a Legator custom brass bridge, their Pro Series Legator tuners, and offset circle inlays that give it that modern edge. Tone shaping, no problem. You're working with Legator's Aftershock active pickups, a master volume knob, a blend knob, and a 3-band EQ. Alrighty, let's jump right in. I kind of have a bit to say about this bass. Now, modern day bassists, we love dingwalls, right? Because they have an extended range scale, they have a longer scale, it's fan fretted, accommodates people. Legator did try doing this with their previous models, like their Wraith or their Ninja bass, but they've decided to do something different with this one, and I commend them on this because though we did have a longer scale for people who tune really low and stuff, it was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. I would be up here and my arm would just, I would get so much tension right here and I would like end up with knots, and it just, I toured with that bass for a bit. I toured all over the US, and you know, when you put it through that type of extensive work, you start to notice what these things do to you over time. And that being said, the high end, because it was so long and tight, it didn't really sound the way I wanted it to. It didn't really give me that nice like pop. Though the low end tightness was nice, especially because we were tuning to like G sharp. But I think with this scale length, a 33 to 35 instead of like a 37, you have something that's a lot more comfortable to play, but you still get a nice tight low end. You know, people who play 5 strings, they know that the low end can get real flubby real quick, and when you go to something that's a longer scale, you tighten that up, but things just start to feel different. And I really think this is the right choice for Legator and where they should be at when it comes to basses. And I think there's a lot of people out there that want to talk about what they prefer and what they want, but you know what, guys, numbers mean everything. We have a lot of people who say stuff like that, but when we go look at how many people actually buy the bass, it's very apparent that that's not what our demographic wants. They say they want something like that, but I think this is a better choice for them. And I think if you guys, bassists, talking to bassists right now, if you guys put your hands on this, and you would definitely agree, especially if you go back and forth. People who probably already own Legator basses right now, you may have already come into this problem, but this is a lot nicer, more comfortable to play. Now that I've got that all off my chest, let's go ahead and go through and show you guys what all of these knobs and everything does. So right here we have a volume, we have a blend between the 2 pickups, we have a bass, mids, and treble, and we have an active and a passive switch. So one thing to note is when you're on passive mode, you can only use the volume and the blend knob, meaning that the EQ is not engaged. But when you turn on the preamp, you're not only getting a boost because it's active, you also get access to the bass, mids, and treble. So on the bass end, you have a middle point. So if you go past the middle point, you get plus 15 of bass. If you go back, you get negative 15 dB of bass. Same with this, but it's the mid, plus 15 dB, minus 15 dB, and on the treble, plus 15 dB, minus 15 dB. So let's see what it all sounds like. We're gonna start with the passive mode. Now let's go to the bridge pickup. That was a blend of them. cool. Let's go to the neck pickup. That's what it sounds like when it's in passive. Now, put it back in the middle between two pickups. Let's turn on the preamp, active. That's what it sounds like when you just engage it. Now you have bass, mids, and treble. Let me show you what the bass parameter sounds like. Plus 15, minus 15. Plus 15, minus 15. In the middle. Which is where I like it personally. I want to shape everything around the low end, especially when it comes to a bass. Mids, up 15. Ooh, a lot of mid honk. Minus 15. So, I like to take away from that mud. You know, it can get muddy, though it does get chunkier. To me, it's also mud. So I'm gonna dial it back a little bit. Now let's go with the treble. I like to boost my treble just a bit so we have this smiley face thing going on. So. So now let's go blend between the two pickups, find where I want it to sit. I like it a little towards the bridge side. It's blending, but it's got more bridge than it does neck. This is where I think this bass needs to lie in place. So typically, this is what I would do if I ran it through this plugin, that plugin, or any other bass. I like to keep my bass in the middle, more or less. Sometimes I'll take it down. If it's too much, it's too much. Roll back some mids, bring up some treble, go more towards the bridge. This is what I like, and this is how it sounds. Very clanky, very mean. What does that also mean for things that aren't so clanky? Let's see. Ooh, that's too much, right? So let's change it. Bring back the volume. Let's bring back the bass. that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys learned something about this bass and scale lengths and what all these knobs do for those of you guys who were a little confused. But you guys let me know, did Legator do a good job by shortening the scale length on their basses? I would really like to know. Leave a comment below. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Widowmaker Josh. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.